So after Shiloh, we have a lot of work to do to get our army back in fighting shape. We're going to be putting points in training, economy, and reconnaissance. The reconnaissance is just to make spotting units in the next couple of battles a little easier. The economy and training will help get the army in shape. Buying up most of the good cannon, I'm holding off on the 24 pounders, also buying up the sniper weapons. And now I want to go through and add in all the veterans I'm planning to add before disbanding a lot of units. So I'm going to try and put in around 5,000. Sometimes I'm going to do a little bit more on these units. These 2-star units got hit pretty hard in the last battle. So I'm going to put them up to 700, and then we're going to end up going up to 800 total. And then I'm going to try and keep them as safe as possible, and then boost them up by another 100 or 200 into the next battle. We'll see how successful I am at that, though. I might just have to eat the cost and experience at some point just to get them back up to a manageable size. With the artillery, I'm mostly putting veterans in just to try and get them to 3 stars a little sooner. The artillery, I probably could start putting rookies in because the firearms is capped out on a lot of these. But I do kind of want to get those other stats up there, and it's a pretty significant loss. I think it's about 3 points per gun you add if you're doing rookies at the moment. And in this case, I'm moving this unit up to 12 because I'm going to be able to put 20 pounders on it. And I decided to keep the one with higher efficiency and lower firearms because the firearms is going to be easier to get more of. So I'm going to keep the one with the more efficiency. And then I'm going to keep one of these skirmisher units, and then I'm going to disband pretty much everything else. So want to put this guy up to the snipers, except we still got some of them equipped. So need to move those around. Then gonna make him a little I guess not really oversized, but field as many of the rifles as we can. And then I got to try and get the cavalry back up. They also took a lot of losses and are going to be expensive to recover. I'm going to go back and deal with officers in a bit. So we'll get all those units back up to the 2 stars that they were at. And now we're going to go through and delete everything. You can see what my recruit stats are before I do the delete. So we'll gain like 2 or 3 points on average for everything, which will help a little bit in terms of putting together the new units. You could theoretically keep more of these 1-star skirmishers if you wanted. I want to try and avoid being in the situation that I'm always facing 1k enemy skirmishers, so I'm going to get rid of a lot of these and switch to infantry. And I could theoretically hold on to more of this artillery, but it's way more than I really need. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of those as well. And I'll just rebuild them as I need them later on. And those 2 infantry units that I just deleted, I think it probably actually would have been better to put a higher officer back on them and then just put pure recruits into them, because even though they would have lost the 1-star with the officer they had, this final stats still would have been better than if I just created them brand new. So I think that was a bit of a mistake, but either way, really, only a few points here or there, they'll make up for it over the course of the campaign. So my initial plan for the next battle was to pull out all of the short-range cannon and pull out most of my good infantry and just use completely fresh stuff. I think I end up deciding to go back and use some of the 2 and 3-star infantry just to try and get them some easy kills without taking any hits, just to get their experience up higher, make it easier to put more recruits in. So the 20 pounders are getting the long range focus. I'm sort of settling in at the moment that the patterns that I'm using for perks are any long-range gun gets the full long-range line. I might have a few that go long-range, mid-range focus, and then long-range focus again. I'm not really sure. I think there's some room for variety, but I think early on I just want to really establish a good solid counter battery core and some good close-in support. So for all my close-in support, I'm going, I guess, for Napoleons, I'm going movement speed, then mid-range focus, and I'll figure out the third star when I get there. And then for the 24 pounders, I'm giving them canister mid-range focus, and then probably more close range focus. So I'm not sure if this is necessarily the best plan, but it's what I'm going to try out for now. I think there's definitely some room to either drop the movement speed or add in the cover perk at level 2. The cover perk's kind of hard to justify just because there's a lot of good options in the second tier. But I think where the cover makes sense is if you're planning on having a lot of artillery close in and not focusing on counter battery, then you really are going to want that just to keep those units alive a bit longer through the AI counter battery. So moving the infantry back up to 800, we're going to try and move it up incrementally. We could go higher right now and just spend the extra money. Maybe that's the better choice. I'm not really sure yet. We're just going to take the skirmishers back up to 250. And I'm just giving them good rifles that I just don't have a whole lot of. Need a better officer to either that or we're going to put veterans in. We can put him in, keep the star. Take a decent stat hit, but we'll get those back. Gonna make another fast unit. The units with cover are the ones that the speed and cover units are the ones that I'm going to use to basically distract the AI, draw fire, etc. And the accuracy ones are the ones I'm going to use to basically, those units are all just going to turn into snipers. I think there's probably some more mixing up you could do there, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. So now I'm trying to put some of my worst officers on the smoothbores that I'm not going to take with me. Just because I want to train up some of the other ones. I'm not entirely sure what the best strategy for officers is for me at this point, because we've gotten past that immediate need to try and get 1-stars, but we still want to be able to expand the ability to generate 1-stars. And right now, I have a decent core of officers that are pretty good, but then I have a big drop off where I go from like 70 plus XP kernels to like 5 XP kernels. So I am able to get the third perk on that unit, which is going to be nice. But I'm going to put the Major General on him. Not sure. There's different ways I could go about doing the officers, but what I kind of want to start doing is find a way to get my low XP kernels onto units and get those some experience so that they can later go on to give units 1-star. And then once I can do that, then those units I can put them on fresh units and have them gain a ton of XP really quickly. So putting my best officers on the long-range artillery where they're going to be safe and can gain some more XP. Don't have anything better there, really. So now I'm moving my better units into the 2nd division that has a better officer, and I'm going to try and put the units that I know are going to take casualties in my 3rd division with the worst officer, just so increase the probability that my good officers will survive and decrease the chance that my increase the chances they'll survive by putting them on units that aren't going to take as much damage. So I've put a lot of recruits back into Tyler, making. My goal is to have or be able to have units around 1,000, 1,200 or 1,200 men or so for Gaines Mill. So I'm making him a little bit larger now, and hopefully I can keep casualties down and increase him in size in the next battle. And we're going to create some extra units. I think I could go larger here, but I would be triggering scaling in a pretty decent way. And this battle is, well, not the next battle coming up is not difficult. It is, you do have a very tight time window, and the larger you make the units, the more you have to try and plow through. So I'm going to try and get everything. So I don't want to make them too large to do that. Maybe it would be better to make them larger and just flip casualties in place. I'm not really sure. But just checking scaling now, so around 1,600 or 16,000. It's about right. So I've got pretty much what I want to go in with. Except, so I don't want to build more infantry, but I do need more infantry, so that's why I'm bringing that 3-star unit back in, and we're going to have to swap the officer on him to get a 3rd star back. And since his experience is a little bit better, we're actually going to take him up to 900. Or maybe 850. I don't remember exactly. Just debating what it is worth to spend in terms of money versus stat loss. Okay, and I think that's what I'm going to go in with. So I will be back with Secure River. Thanks for watching.